This is Cheryl and Tomoya, and welcome to our channel, Awaji. So for those who watch our channel, you already know that we spent an extremely busy 6 months last year transforming an absolute disaster of an abandoned house into a rental property. Then we spent the next year cleaning after each one of our guests. Don't get me wrong, we are so grateful to each one of our guests who give Nehemiah meaning beyond just a place to stay. But me and Tomoya have never really imagined ourselves living a life of routine, Work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, grocery shopping Saturdays, church on Sunday, repeat all over again. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not for us, We truly feel like if we're not making something, if we don't have an ongoing project, then we're not being ourselves, and in other words, we just felt unmotivated. We can't keep doing this day in, day out, every day until we die. So we started looking for the next IKEA we could transform 2 months after we started renting Nehemiah out. We found around 3 to 4 places that we thought were possibilities, but either doors didn't quite open for us or they may have seemed right at first, but then would hit a dead end at some point. Then we realized that God had a plan for us all along. The house was right in front of us. We had actually found it way back in the day, before we found and renovated our own house and before renovating Nehemiah. We reached out to the owner again, and he agreed to sell us the house, but of course it came with its own share of problems, as all the houses we seem to choose do. Although now that it's our 4th house, we're kinda used to obstacles, so much so that we're actually appreciative of them now. So anyway, me and Tomoya were so excited because we had been more than ready to start another IKEA. It had been almost a year. There were some minor hurdles before we could even buy the house because, the house also came with a rice paddy. And in Japan, you need to be a farmer in order to buy a rice paddy, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we were so excited that we started clearing out the weeds before we were even sure of being able to buy the house. When we had cleared enough so we could actually get inside, our next step was to clear the land of tree trunks and stones. Go! Do it! But when we started, we realized that we had a bigger problem on our hands. The drain in front of our house that's connected to the other rice paddies was blocked up with years and years of leaves and mud, so that every time it rained or the water from the rice paddies was released, half of it would also end up traveling into our land. So before we could move forward with anything else, we had to clean the drain, which was probably one of the most exhausting days I can remember. It was the middle of June and it was so humid. Every time we'd clear a little bit of mud, it would fill right back up again. After we'd done that, we could finally start clearing out the stones and tree trunks with our handy tripod. It was the first time using it, so we looked up how to use it on YouTube, and to be honest, it was pretty fun to see the land gradually become flatter and flatter. The guy that lived there had done a landscape garden in the area we'd started clearing out, and there were just all kinds of huge rocks and tree trunks. I can't remember how many we pulled out, but it was probably around 20 tree trunks, and it took us about 3 days just to get it to look like this. It had been 2 weeks of back-breaking labor in the middle of the wet season, and progress had been incredibly slow compared to the amount of work we were actually putting in. ゴミと石とツルもあって、根もいっぱいあって、ブロックもあって。It was weighing on us and we were getting a little bit down, but incredibly, the man who lives opposite the house, who coincidentally is the owner of a civil engineering company and coincidentally just retired in May, offered to help us with his shovel car that he coincidentally just had sitting in this huge warehouse a couple of meters away. It was so incredible and the miracle that we had been waiting for. The progress was instant. The shovel car would uproot trees, and under the trees there would be more rocks and then hidden concrete blocks. Our neighbor would help us in the morning, and then we'd get there in the afternoon to clear away the debris. In total, it took only 5 days to get the land looking like this. We finally had a piece of land that wasn't a forest anymore. So after that, we decided to start throwing out the junk that was inside of the house. The previous owner had cleaned it up quite a bit for us, so we thought it would only take 1 trip in our little truck. But when we got back, we realized around 4 to 5 times that amount was hidden between one of the roof ceilings and the roof. ここに隠してあったじゃん。ゴミ。With all of that junk and the stock room in front of the house, we filled up our truck 7 times, and it cost us about 28,740 yen in total to get rid of everything. Finally, the house was empty enough to start demolishing walls and rooms we didn't need. We started in the room right in front of the entrance, then moved onto the room in between the ceiling and the roof where all the junk was. And then we completely demolished the kitchen. But the biggest hurdle was still waiting for us, in the bathroom. In order to be able to dispose of the materials, we had to separate each one of them. Concrete, tile, stucco, paper, wire, brick, soil. If even just a tiny bit of any other material was found, we would have to pay 20,000 yen a bag. And to top things off, our hammer drill broke in the process, so we did our best without it, but then ended up leaving things like this. So we'd been cleaning up this house for around 2 months now. The weather was definitely heating up and Nehemiah was also starting to get busy. We decided to take a break and actually start thinking of how we wanted to flip this house. And the thing with us is that stuff we decide today may completely change by tonight, and then by tomorrow we probably wouldn't even remember what we're talking about in the first place. So we kind of figured that nothing is set in stone. So we were dragging our feet waiting for summer to end when we received word on another piece of land we wanted to buy. After making arrangements to buy it, off we went to that land, which is in fact next to Nehemiah, and started from zero all over again. And now all we could think about was this project and what we were going to build here. And while waiting for a whole bunch of stuff like paperwork and other boring stuff, we filled our time by fixing a boat that was just sitting on that land that nobody wanted. Summer came and went. We had totally forgotten about the $2,000 house and was fixated on building on the new piece of land. And now it was already November. There were complications and we couldn't progress any further, and we needed a project, so we decided we couldn't wait any longer. We were going back to the $2,000 house, and we were going to start by putting a new roof in. That'll be the next video, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. See you soon.